What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having the loveliest day, and I hope it gets even better from watching this video. I know what you're thinking, okay? I'm not gonna go and haunt you in your sleep. I know I look like it. Let's all just collectively ignore that, okay? Today we're chatting all about how to have a really strong sense of self and learn how to validate yourself so that you're not chasing external validation all the time, because then it's not really in your hands. You're just going with the winds of whatever external validation you can get to feel good about yourself, to feel confident, to feel like you've got self-worth, like you just are important, you're beautiful, you're smart, whatever you want to be. And one thing about external validation is that it's never enough. It's not like you get that guy, you get that achievement, you get those followers, and you're good forever. You need to keep getting it. And if you're constantly chasing something, you're chasing the wrong thing. Most of the advice that I've heard about these topics, particularly on YouTube, it's like monitor your thoughts. When you start to think negatively about yourself, change it and say positive affirmations because you're a bad bitch and whatever. And that's all amazing. If affirmations work for you, keep doing that. But I don't really think it makes that big of a difference long term. It's kind of like a band-aid. Not to mention it takes so much effort. You have around 60,000 thoughts in a day. So how are we going to monitor all that? I don't really know. So today we're going to go through a few practices, exercises you can try out to really make like a long-term significant change. Okay, let's chat a bit more about internal versus external validation, just so we can really fully understand this before we dive into the exercises, because you can't really fix a problem if you don't fully understand what the problem is. So obviously it is completely normal and healthy to rely on other people, to ask for advice, to vent, to ask for people's opinions, even to want other people to like you and think positively of you. That is actually healthy human behavior, okay? There's a biological reason why you care about what other people think of you, because in the past it's kept you safe if you were a part of a group. So I'm not saying that you need to throw all of that away and only rely on yourself and your alone island. No, but external validation should come as an addition to your internal validation, not in place of it. Otherwise, it's always in other people's hands, and the way you feel about yourself is very shaky. It's not like a stable foundation. If you're one of those people who's constantly asking for other people's opinions about what you should do with this, what you should do with that, should I break up with my boyfriend, should I start this career, yada, yada, yada. I know I can get in that habit also, so no judgment here. It's so important to realize that what other people think of you, how they think of you, and what kind of advice they give you specifically is so highly influenced by their own experiences. Plus, again, it's their opinion. An opinion is completely subjective. It's not some universal objective truth, and again, it might not be good for you. And don't you think that since you've been with yourself since literally birth, and you're the only one who really truly knows you in and out. You're the only one who has been through all of the experiences you've gone through. You're the only one who has met all the people that you have met, so on and so forth. Don't you think that you would have the best opinion and the best judgment of what you should do? Because you have the most data, you have the most information, not to mention you have your best interests at heart. One thing that has really helped me when it comes to my self-worth, my confidence, my really strong sense of self, not needing other people's validation is definitely therapy. Like, I cannot ignore that. Of course, there's so many things you can do by yourself, and I definitely did that, and I'm gonna share my favorites later on. It really is invaluable to have a professional there guiding you through everything. And an amazing resource if you want to try out therapy is BetterHelp, and they are sponsoring this video. Obviously, starting therapy can sometimes be a little scary, so BetterHelp makes the whole experience a lot more comfortable. It's online therapy, and it's totally up to you if you do it through a phone call, a video chat, or even through messages. And you can schedule sessions at a time that's most convenient for you from the comfort of your own home. BetterHelp connects you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice. If you want to try it out, you can click the link in the description box or visit betterhelp.com/Nika. It's super easy to get started. You fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs, and then you'll get matched with your therapist in most cases in 48 hours or less. They have over 30,000 therapists in their network, which obviously gives you access to a much wider range of expertise than there might be available in your area. And if the therapist you're first matched with doesn't really feel like the right fit, which can sometimes be common when you first start therapy, you can easily switch to a different one on at no additional cost. Over 4 million people have used BetterHelp to start living healthier, happier lives. You guys know I'm a huge advocate for therapy. I've seen such a huge difference in my life, so I really hope you can find the right fit for yourself and get the same benefits. You can click the link in the description box or visit betterhelp.com/Nika, and that'll give you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. The first thing we're going to tackle is what to do if you're one of those people who's constantly asking for other people's opinions or living in accordance with what other people around you think that you should be doing. Because sometimes you don't know what to think. You don't know what you want to do. And maybe deep down, this is usually where it comes from, you don't really trust that you'll make the right decision. So much about having a strong self-concept, knowing how to validate yourself, being confident can actually be summed up to trusting yourself. And the amazing thing about trust is that it can be rebuilt. What you're gonna do is you're gonna write down what past decisions have you made, not what your mom told you to do, what your sister, your friend, whatever. Decisions that you've actually made. They can be recent, far back in the past, whatever. If this is something like I've decided to start Pilates and it was an amazing decision because I now feel so much better about myself, I finally found a workout program that works for me, blah, blah, blah. That is obviously a very positive decision and you can see that it was the right decision, right? So those are gonna be super easy. But what happens when at the moment or straight after you were like, that was the wrong decision, I made a mistake? So you're gonna ask yourself, how was that actually the right decision in the long run? If that's a little bit too far for you, you can also try, how has that decision end up panning out pretty well for me? Like, how did it end up positive, even if at the time it felt like you made a mistake? So let's say one of the decisions that I've made that felt like a mistake is I decided to date this person who I ended up in a relationship with. It was a very toxic relationship. It ruined my self-esteem. The person ended up cheating, whatever. Obviously, when you were done with that relationship, you were like, that was a mistake. And it's an awful feeling when at the end of it, you're like, how did I not see this coming? Like, how could I have been so silly to make this mistake and I can't even trust my own judgment anymore? Like, that's how it feels. And it's not a fun feeling, okay? So how has this choice that I've made, this decision, panned out to actually be really good for me? So let's say that after this relationship, I got into therapy. I really wanted to work on myself, rebuild my self-esteem, and I actually now feel the best that I've ever felt about myself. I also learned what I want in a relationship, what I don't want, how I will never be treated again. And obviously, that makes me way better. I have way more knowledge. I am a wiser woman. I feel better about myself. Like, I can see how that decision has actually led me somewhere really positive. So that is the goal of this exercise. And it's so important to remember, you don't know what you don't know. Right now, when you're sitting here and judging the decisions you've made in the past, your judgment is coming from the point of, now you know this information. You didn't know it at the time. So give yourself grace. It's okay. That's how we learn. Honestly, like, the most I've ever learned in my life has been through mistakes that I thought I made at the time or really awful things that happened to me, to be completely honest. So just try to come at it from like, how is this glass half full, not half empty? Also, one thing I want to quickly mention that really, really helped me, I don't even know who said this to me, it might have been my therapist, but it was like, if anyone had gone through absolutely everything that you had gone through, had all the exact same copy-paste experiences, all of it, they would be in exactly the same place as you are now. And that just like made me feel like, okay, it's okay. It's okay. And if you really want to work on rebuilding your trust every single day, if you notice that this exercise is really beneficial to you, you can at the end of the day journal about like, what great decisions have I made today? And even if that's like, I decided to have water instead of Coca-Cola. Okay, a win is a win. A win is a win. Next up, I've got 3 practices that are really fun. Maybe this is just fun to me. I don't know, but I think they're really fun. And they're really gonna help you to treat yourself better. And what that's gonna do is you're gonna feel better about yourself. You're gonna see more of your self-worth. Your confidence is gonna increase. And then you don't really need that much of external validation because you've already got it right here. It's internal, and that's what we want. So a lot of that comes from how you treat yourself. And that can be changed. That you can start changing that today. The first one is date yourself. So you're gonna imagine you have the perfect partner. Like, this person was made for you. They do everything right. And that is exactly how you're gonna treat yourself. So if this person brings you flowers every single week, then you're gonna go out and buy yourself flowers every single week. How does this person act when you come home and you're upset? do that for yourself? How do they celebrate you when you achieve something? And of course, you can include other people. If it's like, I just achieved something and my perfect partner would celebrate me by taking me out to a nice dinner. If you're not comfortable taking yourself out to a nice dinner and eating by yourself, you can call up your friend, be like, hey girlie, tomorrow night we're celebrating ourselves. Pick at least one thing you want to be celebrated for. And we're going out, we're getting some drinks, some dinner with the sole purpose of celebrating ourselves. You can include your loved ones. That's okay. The point is that you're creating all of that for yourself. And it's really like actually so fun. And you also realize what you want in a relationship and it raises your standards and you just feel really good about yourself. So highly, highly recommend. Next one that kind of goes hand in hand, to be honest, is to validate your feelings and experiences. And a very simple way to do this, I like to do this in the mirror. You can do it by journaling. You can even record yourself, record a voice note, just like you speaking, whatever floats your boat. But you're just gonna vent, okay? You're gonna say everything you need to say. I literally do it in a mirror. There's no one there, no one's judging you. Who cares? I just speak to myself. I let it all out there. And then say to yourself, whatever this perfect partner, your perfect friend, your perfect mom, whoever is that like nurturing, understanding figure in your mind, say to yourself what that person would say to you. And the sole purpose of this person, this imaginary person, is to make you feel better and to make you feel loved and understood and accepted and all of those lovely things. So what would that person say to you? Say that to yourself when you're venting in the mirror. And when you practice this a few times, you start to catch yourself. Like during the day when I'm doing something, I'm getting frustrated. I'm like, you're doing a good job, Nika. It's all gonna be okay. It's a little silly, but it makes me feel so much better. Like, it's amazing. Start caring for yourself like a car guy, a guy that's in love with cars. You know the ones. His profile picture is a car. His whole feed is cars. Oh, he talks about our cars. He has a magazine subscription for cars. You get the drift. Treat yourself the way that guy treats his dream car that he just bought, okay? Again, this is just a fun way to imagine it because you're like, oh, I really got to step up my self-care, okay? And make it like a luxurious, amazing, like a whole experience. You can run yourself a bath, create beautiful lighting, amazing music, have a candle going, make your favorite drink, have your favorite show on or whatever. Just make it a whole experience. So it's like, I am treating myself right now and I am doing whatever the hell I want to do that makes me feel like I'm being taken care of. Because what do we do with the things that in our eyes are very valuable? We take care of them. So it's time that you start doing that. And on that note, let's talk about self-worth. So when we value something, we recognize that it has worth. What that means is that it's beneficial, useful, or important to us. So here's what you can do to build your own self-worth. Not even to build it because it's always there. This is what you do to recognize it. So you're gonna write 3 lists. I've shared this exercise before. It's from the book How to Love Yourself. I always have all the self-help books that have helped me linked in the description box, so you can check that out if you want to. And I also made a whole video about this topic, so if you need more information about this, I'll link it up here. First thing you're gonna do is you're gonna write a list of your positive traits and talents. So for example, I am really, really good at writing. It has always come naturally to me. I'm really good at putting things into beautiful words. Big or small, doesn't matter. Write as many things as you can think of. You can keep adding to that list when you think of something new. Next up, your successes and contributions. So I won an award for the best essay. I won a spelling bee when I was 5. It can again be smaller things. Contributions can be things like I helped my friend Sarah through a breakup. Last list is your list of potentials. And this can be what can you do with the positive traits and talents and everything that you've got going for you. An example here could be, I think I could write a really, really good self-help book because again, I'm great at writing, problem solving. Or let's say one of your positive traits is that you're a really good cook. Like you just are a natural with making up recipes and all of that. So your little small potential, could be like, I think I would be really good at hosting a dinner party. Like I think I would choose the right playlist, the right food, blah, blah, blah. Like I just think I would be really good at that. List as many things as possible. This is not a time and place to play small. This is not a time to be humble, okay? Brag about yourself, anything you've ever done, any positive thought you've ever had about yourself. This is your chance, okay? So this exercise helps you to see what comes naturally to you, what is easy for you. And a lot of those things sometimes we don't even recognize because it's like second nature to us. Your job now is to focus on them. You can expand on them, learn more about them, and then put yourself in situations, in places, around people where those traits are seen as valuable. Let's say all around me in this huge ass circle are all the traits and talents in this world. So my traits and talents, usually they're kind of in like a lane, okay? These are all the traits and talent. This is my lane. This is what I'm naturally good at. Because there's no point in being good at everything. Like, where did we get this idea? Probably school. And that is just a lie. Because when you think about the people that are really successful and are thriving, whatever your metric for that is, usually they're really, really good at one specific thing or a few specific things, and they've gotten amazing at that. And it might take some trial and error to figure that out. Obviously, these lists can really help you. This really helps you to see your own worth and value. And then you also don't really compare yourself that much, because my lane is over here. Sarah's lane is over there. Why would I compare myself to her lane when they're completely different things? Also, when other people give you their opinions about your life, your choices, you intrinsically know this is in my lane. Like, you might be recommending me something, which thank you for the recommendation. That's fine. But I know what my lane is, and this doesn't fit that lane. So you can just say, that's just not for me. People can and will have their own expectations and opinions of you. That is normal. We all do. But that doesn't mean that they're right or that this is beneficial to you right now. You just focus on your lane, figure out what that is. These lists will help you focusing on that and expanding on it. It honestly, like when I started doing this, my career, my life in general, the way I feel about myself, it all just blossomed. And I really rarely compare myself to other people, because what's the point? Like, I know what I'm doing. I know my path. So I don't need to look at, again, Sarah over there, because we're on different paths. She's got her traits and talents over there. Mine are over here. And that's all good and dandy. And again, it makes you feel really good about yourself. So that's always a huge bonus in my books. Alrighty, I had to move because the sun was beaming in my face, but I have one more exercise to share with you, and it has everything to do with confidence, because that really goes hand in hand with everything we've chatted about today. A really important tip that I don't really hear about very often when it comes to confidence is how important it is to stick to the things that you'll say you'll do. That builds so much confidence and trust in yourself. Like, we use this language all the time. It's like, I'm confident in Sarah that she's gonna show up on time, or I trust Sarah that she'll be there on time. And when that is not the case, let's say you have a friend who's constantly late and you're like, oh my God, are we gonna be there on time? And they say yes, and then you're waiting there and they're not there. You lose trust in them. You lose confidence in them that they will ever show up on time. And the same thing happens is when you're constantly saying that you're going to do something, or you're making promises to yourself and you never follow through. Your words, your intention has no meaning anymore because you don't follow it up by action. I actually made a whole video about confidence where I shared so many tips like this, so I'll have that linked over here and down below if you want to check that out and get a few more tips and tricks. I really agree that discipline is one of the highest forms of confidence, because when your words have meaning, when you know that what you say you'll do, you end up doing, when you follow up with your promises, of course that builds confidence. It builds trust in yourself. And that is so, so, so important when it comes to all of the topics that we're talking about today. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna become super selective of the promises that you make yourself, and you're gonna under-promise and over-deliver. If you're constantly promising that you'll do something and you never follow through, you're not aiming low enough. This is, I'm pretty sure, Peterson's advice. I saw it on YouTube Shorts or something, but aim lower. So if this is where you are right now, let's say you have no routines. You don't have a morning routine, an exercise routine. You don't really have a lot of healthy habits to have the life that you want to have. And now you see these advice videos or someone's routine and you get really motivated and you want to be over here. So all of a sudden you want a morning routine, a nighttime routine, this habit, that habit. I want to start running. I'm going to go to the gym, and it's over there. Okay. So you might do that for a few days, a week, maybe even 2 or 3 weeks. So you'll be here, but then you'll go all the way back down, because it is really hard to sustain that level of change at once. Okay. But if you aim here, which a lot of us don't do because it doesn't feel satisfying. It's like it's not enough, it's not even exciting, because like anyone can do that. Exactly, anyone can do that. So that means you can do it also. And you can't usually do this, and you've probably proven that to yourself over and over. So it's time to change that strategy, okay? So let's go with the routines example. The only thing I'm gonna do is when I wake up, whenever that is, I'm gonna write a gratitude journal, and I'm gonna start with that. And then I'm gonna get here because it's easy. And then I can keep doing that Under promise, over deliver, make fewer promises, aim lower. And I actually have a whole video on discipline also where I share many more of tips like this. So I'll have that linked below and right here as well. Alrighty, we've made it to the challenge. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna pick one exercise. So either the first one that we talked about, like writing down all of your decisions, how they were good, or the self-worth lists, the 3 lists. So choose one of those and then choose one practice you're gonna do. So either at night, you're gonna journal about how you've made the right decisions. That is one of them. Date yourself is another one. You can, again, go through them in the timestamps if that makes it easier to decide. So again, choose an exercise, choose a practice, and then choose a time frame of how long you're gonna do this for. And again, aim lower. If this is where you're at, we're gonna go right over here, okay? Under promise, over deliver, and you can always build up on it. Like, it's gonna feel so good when you reach this point that you're gonna wanna keep doing it. Whereas when you wanna reach this place and you fail repeatedly, you kind of lose the motivation and the drive because it's not satisfying to not do the things that you set out to do. So choose a time frame. If that is 2 weeks for you, if that is a week, if that is 3 days, it doesn't matter. Just choose something that feels realistic and that almost feels too easy. Like, doesn't even feel that exciting. You can comment down below what your challenge is gonna be, and then you can come every single day and add a little comment like, I did it, day 1, done. If you need some partners, some more motivation and inspiration, you can go through other people's comments, all of that. But you can also make your own trackers, do whatever you want. I will personally do the self-worth exercise because I actually haven't done it in a while, and I'm curious to see how it might be a little different. And then I'm gonna do the date yourself practice because it's my favorite. So I'm gonna do this for 1 week because that seems realistic to me right now. And then I can build up on that. Alrighty guys, that is it for this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would love for you to subscribe and stick around for the next video next week. Again, check out my social media if you wanna see more of my personal life. And that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.